Recording. So I want to stop sharing and yeah, and show my face to everyone. Okay. Can you all see me? Please, can you all see me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can see you.
Okay.
Yes, you can see
And
it.
please, I encourage the
You
speakers.
see it.
So, Miriam, the co-host, please, if you're also able to help me to mute whoever is maybe trying to connect with us and they cannot control what is going on in their background, maybe you can suggest it to them. So please, the speakers, if you are able to show up your face, pop up your camera, we will really appreciate, so that our listeners, our viewers, our people can, begin to follow up with you and, be able to connect with you as you are saying those things. We'll really appreciate that. And for every other participant as well, if you are able to on your camera, we will really appreciate that. So we won't be wasting much of your time. We've spent about 30 minutes, trying to wait for people to join us. Some persons are joining us from different parts of the world. In particular, one of our speakers, who is John, is in China, and it's midnight over there. I think around maybe 11, okay, or noon. 12 a.m. One out of the two, I'm not so sure. So I think we have to try as much as possible to ensure that we capture everyone. We are not trying to inconvenience people. So let me introduce myself. My name is Oluwasegun Michael Ibrahim. I am the founder of the STEAM City Initiative. Just give me a few seconds to, yes, pop this up. I hope you can see my screen. So essentially, this initiative was kind of like conceived a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, after I completed my PhD. And I've had reasons to do a lot of things in life, and especially when it has to do with scholarship applications. My BSc, my master's, and my PhD, I've received reasonable number of funding to this, to my education. And it's also a way of me trying to create a hub, looking for people of like minds, which I think I've been blessed over the years to have people work with me to help mentor young people in Africa who are also aspiring to do a lot of things. And we have done, this will be the third webinar we'll be doing. Doing this AIMS webinar is just one of the things we do. As you can see on the mission and vision statement, what we're trying to do. And on a yearly basis, we're looking forward to, having people of like minds come on board, to start this, to contribute as much as we can to help our people back home in Africa. When I started this initiative, I also started when I was in Africa. I had my PhD in Nigeria, to be precise. And since then, we've been pushing these things as much as we can. So this is our mission. This is our vision. You can also go on our social media pages to try to see what we're doing. And I encourage each and every one of us, as you can see on the chat. Miriam, I'm wondering if you are able to copy the links to our social media handles, if you can paste it in the group chat again, for people to be able to, follow us and see some of the things we're doing. So once again, thank you for coming and thank you for taking your time to attend this event. So let me delve further into what we do at STEAM City Initiative. So one of it is academic mentoring. So we have that sphere where people at different levels of education, master's, PhD, undergrad, even high school, we have reasons to try to mentor them. We have different WhatsApp groups where we also do this, and we try to follow up on them. So for instance, last year webinar we had, there are about 8 people who reached out to us that they were successful in the application process. And I guess maybe 6 accepted the offer at the end of the day. And since then, We've been mentoring those 6 students who are currently, they should be part of today's program. We've been mentoring them, trying to also educate them and let them know that, sometimes it will get tough when you're in different programs, a program like AIMS, for instance, and we try to also sell the idea of leveraging the opportunity at AIMS to ensure that they get the best after graduation. Apart from that, we also do career mentoring. I remember, a few or months back, someone recommended someone like to me and like, okay, talk to us. They finished their masters in the US precisely, and they were also like looking for a possibility of getting a job. And we were able to recommend them. We got a connection from Miriam there, who was able to, she's also one of the people, volunteering for us in this group. And the person was able to get a job. So we are not saying that we are like full-time people who help people get job, but people in our sphere, people in our jurisdiction, people who have been working with us or who are under our mentoring, we are also able to like suggest things they could do and to get the best for themselves. For graduate scholarship application, we also have that sphere where we, on a yearly basis, we teach people, we coach them on how to apply for graduate programs. We started with graduate scholarship application in the US. The last year, we had people who had PhD admission in Florida. This year, again, someone reached out to me already. He has a PhD admission in Johns Hopkins. So these are kind of like, the success stories we've had. And also, we also have research initiatives, sphere where we are open to collaboration. We collaborate with people. We've had one of our publications, published in the Elsevier Journal with about 5.0 impact factor. We're still doing collaboration with people. So if you're out there, you're ready to collaborate with us and get things done, it will be helpful because this is the way it works. You want to contribute as much as you can. At the same time, you want to advance in your career. Some undergraduate students, they've graduated, they finished their BSc, they don't know where to, publish their BSc research. Many of them did interesting job, and maybe some of you, maybe your supervisor is busy, they are unable to do it. We can also collaborate in such a way you get the best out, from us. A lot of things we're doing, we're just still trying to like put a lot of things together. So let me also use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you, particularly the volunteers of STEAM City Initiative. Thank you for all what you do. Maybe I'm unable to identify every one of you, but I can just call randomly Miriam. I'm not seeing these other names, but I just hope that with time, as time goes on, I will be able to identify some of you. And thanks for this, the Friends of STEAM City initiative. Huge thanks to, the speakers who that they volunteer today. Your time is very important to us. So, we are here today just because of this scholarship application. I was a beneficiary of this scholarship in 2016. I was among the first cohort of AIMS Rwanda. And, when I came back, even when I heard about this scholarship, a lot of people around me didn't even get to know. So when I came back, I also thought about, we've learned a lot from this program. Let's see how we can send down the ladder. And the speakers you're seeing that will be talking to us today, they are people who have also gone through this process. Many of them, they've gone to different centers of AIMS. They might be saying this in the course of the webinar. So this is the application process is, as inscribed on the application portal, a flyer, you can see those who can apply for it and the benefit of things you are going to get from the program. So the application ends by March 29th. Maybe there could be a possibility of extension, but what we want to do is to find a way of, mentoring you, telling you things that could really, really, really be helpful. And you will also ask your questions. I was checking my archive and I saw this picture. This was in 2016 when I was at AIMS Rwanda. So this is the founder of AIMS, the AIMS African Institute for Mathematical Sciences through the Next Einstein Initiative. His name is Professor Neil Turok. He is from South Africa and he's had a lot of, experience in the Western world is been to the US, UK, Canada, is known for, different things. One of his famous work is with the late Steve Hawkins. So he is the one that, I think conceived this initiative, and a lot of folks in Africa also joined him to actualize this initiative. And when you meet him, when he speaks, there's this passion. He's very, very passionate about Africa. And I think his vibe now is distributive to probably every AIMS alumni out there, So, and that is why we are doing this. Like I said before, my name is Oluwasegun Michael Ibrahim. I'm from Nigeria. I'm currently a postdoctoral researcher at the so it's a little bit technical. So I'm doing my research in modeling human behavior and biology, and I'm at University of Texas at Austin. I've been here for about a year now. And so I'm also trying to connect with people, like Adam, Rachel, Rabiu, John, Abigail, Irene, Miriam, Tohib, and I hope I'll still see a lot of people I'll be able to mention their names in also helping people to discover more about the program. I know those who are here might have started the application process, and you have a lot of questions that you want to ask. Maybe in the course of this program, if you have questions as our speakers are talking, you might be able to drop them in the chat menu so that we can easily start taking them. And if you also want to ask verbally, we might be able to give opportunity for that. So without any further delay, we just want to pass a few questions around to our speakers. And from there, we would go to the second session, which will be question and answer. So based on the little thing I think I have said, I don't know if there is any question or observation before we start engaging our speakers. And if you don't want to say your question out, maybe you can send me a direct message. Okay. I want to assume that maybe there is no question. Let me check the chat box. Okay, I don't think there is any question. So let's go to, the webinar in proper. So I'm just throwing this open, and I'm, wondering if any of our speakers we want to speak to, their understanding of AIMS. So you just introduce yourself. You can just, mention your name, the program you are into, then maybe you can mention the AIMS center you're into. And I'm wondering if any of the speakers can speak to the idea of AIMS, what they understand by the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, and maybe by extension to the Next Einstein Initiative, or during your time at AIMS or when you apply for AIMS. What do you understand by the idea of AIMS, and what do you think AIMS is doing to Africa that you would want participants today to learn from, to be aware of, and to see, the reason why they may want to apply for this scholarship? Whoever wants to go first. Do you want me to mention the okay? Abigail, please. Okay, yeah, go on.
There's a lot of silence here, and it's getting awkward.
Go on,
So
please,
I think
please speak up.
I'll just go ahead. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Abigail. Abigail Namankwabiu. I'm from Ghana. I'm currently a PhD student in Ireland. I'm with the Science Foundation. It's a long name, but let me try. So I'm with the Science Foundation Ireland Center for research training in machine learning. Yes, and I'm under Dublin City University in Ireland. So what is AIMS? Well, what is my understanding of AIMS? Now, AIMS was established in 2003, first in South Africa, and it's Africa's first and largest network of centers. And what do? They provide postgraduate training in mathematical sciences. And their mission is to empower talented young Africans to become creative leaders in science and technology. And currently, there are 5 centers across Africa. There's Rwanda, there's Cameroon. I went to Cameroon. There's also South Africa, Ghana, and then the last one, I think. So I've mentioned Ghana, Rwanda, Ghana, South Africa, Senegal, and the very last one, someone help me. Yeah. So there are 5 centers for AIMS.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the great, introduction of AIMS to each and every one of us. It's, I know some persons, I don't know, maybe some persons might have seen like an old advert where you must have seen AIMS Tanzania. At some point, I think AIMS was in Tanzania, and I don't think the center is there again. So just to take note of that. I don't know if anyone may still want to say one or two things um to the AIMS before we also move to other things.
Yes, me begin by greeting the bench, and I hope all of you are fine. My name is John Otinda from Kenya. That is my nationality. Currently, I'm a PhD student pursuing statistics in the University of Science and Technology of China, one of the best universities in the world. Latest, we have ranked among the top 50 in the latest rank. So it will be very bad if I don't mention that. I'm a former alumni of I'm a former alumni of African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, Rwanda. I was competitively selected in the 2021 court. And what I can say in a few seconds about AIMS, it is very good for catalyzing skills, not necessarily the knowledge generation, but if you want to get mathematical skills, which will help you transit in research or the industry, that you are a mathematician or you belong to member of the STEM subjects, then AIMS is a
Uh, John, we can't hear you. John, maybe.
good platform for you to go and venture to acquire skills in programming languages and also do a lot of research. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes. Yes, continue.
Yes, I was saying I'm one of the students who was former alumni of African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, Rwanda, class of 2022. I was admitted in August 2021. What I can say about AIMS, it is an institution that helps young or people who want to venture in STEMs, that is science, mathematics, engineering, and technology. AIMS is a good way of acquiring skills that will motivate you trend in both industry and in the academia. In terms of knowledge, it is also good, but in terms of skill development, it is really a good platform for those who want to venture in acquiring scientific skills that will help them become very reasonable people in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think they've answered it all, and they've said what they could say. One important thing to mention is that apart from the skills and every other thing you are also doing, with AIMS, I think it's also more of, there's this say that the problems in Africa can be best solved by the Africans. And it is important to know that there are some, let's say, for instance, diseases that are maybe somehow peculiar to us. So if we have modelers, if we have scientists who probably live or they are from that particular area, they are able to acquire these skills. So what AIMS is looking at is, bridging or trying to groom people who are scientifically sound and they're able to identify this problem. Let's say, in terms of food, limited resources in Africa, or a few of, for instance, malaria, is common in Africa, sleeping sickness, and so on and so forth. So they're looking for people, scientifically, they will be stable, capable of handling this problem. Then at the same time, able to have the leadership role, skills, in such a way that if they become the president, the minister, the representative of their respective countries, trying to invest in research that will help tackle the problems in Africa will be easy. So AIMS also take, leadership things seriously. And I think that is what we are all trying to do here. So I think I'm going to exclude the two speakers and probably I'm going to randomly pick on any of the speakers that have not spoken to talk about, what made you apply for the AIMS application? And in applying for this AIMS application, what did you see? What makes you feel like, okay, the application was essential? Because, we know a lot of people who would maybe probably be like, oh, the opportunity is in Africa, and maybe there is no need for me to apply for it. What was your motivation applying for AIMS? Let me start with Muhammadu. Yeah, you can speak, please.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. My name is Muhammad Rabiu Soho. I'm AIMS alumni from AIMS Rwanda, class of 2022. I am currently at the Center for Software Reliability at the City University of London, where I focus my research on assessment of Bayesian-based algorithms. That are basically responsible for detecting cyber attacks. I applied to AIMS then in 2021, 2021, and I was among the successful candidates among the 50 admitted students. I was motivated to apply to AIMS through encouragement from my mentor, who was Dr. Afis Saliu. Yeah, he was my lecturer then during my undergraduate degrees at Gombe State University. So he encouraged me to apply to AIMS. He told me many things about AIMS, what AIMS is, and the potential it has, and how he thinks it's going to help me in my future career. So I went ahead to do some research or a little findings about AIMS and what it is. I found that most of the AIMS alumni have gotten positions after their AIMS master's degree. Some of them pursued a career in the industry. Yeah, and likes, and what such are kind of the things that actually motivated me to pursue a master's degree, particularly at AIMS. And I chose AIMS Rwanda because I really want to explore the other part of Africa, since I came from the West Africa, and I really enjoyed my stay there. I've seen different cultural shocks. I've interacted with different people coming from different parts of Africa. And this has really helped me. I've got connections with different people. I've got, I met different people, and this has really helped.
Great, fantastic. Two things I want to pick on there. First is, having a good mentor, because I also got to know about AIMS as a result of my mentor who, felt, Shegun, I don't think I can apply for AIMS again, but I think if you apply for AIMS, you will get it, and that was how I applied for AIMS. And when I was even applying for AIMS, I was almost completing my first master's in Nigeria then. I still said, I'm going to apply. Then another thing is cultural shock. Like we're all from Africa. If you
Yeah.
live in West Africa and you go to East Africa, you get to realize that I'm like, we're all Africans, but you know,
Yeah.
we have, I mean, we have things in common, you know, maybe, you know, our culture and all that. Even culture, there are still some cultural differences, right? But for instance, in terms of food, you know, most of us in West Africa like our food to be very, very spicy, you know. But when you get
Yeah.
to East Africa, it's a different ballgame. When we were in Rwanda, I remember we're like, oh, we need pepper, pepper. Like, you know, like, what's this pepper all about? And it was a spicy. We want our meal to be spicy. And at some point, we were taking like uncooked pepper. And we're like, no, in West Africa, there's a way we fry our pepper. So
Yeah.
there's diversity, there's this thing it brings to you. And for people who want to study in the Western world, you are going to face a lot of this. So I think I quite resonate with that. I will ask Irene, you know, to, you know, speak to the what you did during your application process, because you know sometimes this thing can be so overwhelming, and you must have seen different materials out there. You know, you must have seen people that were released, you know, PPT or PDF. I had my PDF sent out, you know, years back, you know, before we started customizing it under STEM City Initiative. I've been to a conference before where I introduced myself, and someone just said, hey, see my invisible mentor. I was like, what do you mean by that? He said, I saw one of your materials about AIDS. That was what, you know, helped me navigate through the application process. So, Irene, I want you to speak to the fact that, you know, a lot of people will apply. A lot of people may be graduated with the first class or what we call strong 2-1. For the most part, the questions are maybe kind of like general. So what do you think you did during your application process that would have made you stand out? How did you think you package your application in a very unique way that whoever is reading it will really, really be interested in picking you? Maybe you may want to share this with some of our participants.
Okay, good day everyone. My name is Irene Uwerikowe, a Nigerian, and I was part of AIMS Ghana 2016. Yeah, so it's been a long time. As at the time I heard of AIMS, I think I just heard of AIMS from two guys like that. They were applying that day. I was in a lecturer's office I was in school then, the University of Ibadan. I was in my first master's, and they were talking about AIMS, that they wanted to apply to AIMS. And I was like, what is AIMS? What is it about? They're like, no, it's this master's program, is a scholarship, and oh, Irene, you're a lady, apply, and you are good and all that. It will help you, you know, propel your career and all. They were just like, you know, pushing me to apply for it. And when he told me to apply for it, I think it was like a week. I had like a week to finish up, like, and I didn't had my certificate then. I wasn't with my transcript. I wasn't with like the requirements. So immediately they pushed me like, Irene, you need to apply for this thing. It's something you actually get, and if you get it, you're going to meet different people. It's just going to work out for you. I had to travel down that period to get my certificate, to get my transcript. And one thing I believe about applying for things is, first of all, even if the person is not seeing you, you have to be confident in yourself. Like, it's more like, I believed I could get it. I believed I had what it takes to, you know, have the scholarship. And I think then, I don't know how the whole process is now, as at that time, there wasn't any like interview. What they did then was like, you fill a form online. They ask you questions, your motivation, then you put in your certificates and transcripts and every other thing. Like, you just send it online, and that is all. So there wasn't any formal interview, there wasn't like any questions. You don't have to do like a test or something. So for me, it was more like my motivation. I think that was what helped. Then another thing I noticed about AIMS is you're referee. For me, I was kind of scared because I was coming from a school that wasn't so popular in Nigeria then. So like, I don't know if there were any students from my school that had attended AIMS. So I was like, will I even get this thing? Considering the fact that my school is not a very popular school. But I just sold myself the way I could sell myself. I made them I made them see the best in me. I was able to convince them. Then I started looking for referees, like people I felt like, okay, they had a good standing, probably in the university here, and like if they could check their profile, they'll be like, okay, this lecturer is sound. So I had to like also for referees, like people I know could stand for me and say, okay, Irene can do this. We can vouch for her. So I think those two things help, my referees and my motivation, and probably my certificate. Like they have their requirements. You either have a first class or a second class upper. So I think those three things: my results, my motivation, like my motivation letter, and my referee. I think those three things were the really key things that helped in my application when I applied to AIMS.
Fantastic. So I was going to ask, your motivation for, applying. So do you make it more general? Because like, did you think that picking a path that is unique and that is sellable makes sense when you're expressing your motivation for AIMS?
Well, for me, I don't think it's sellability. I just feel like somehow all my applications so far for anything I've done, I just felt like I just had to be myself. So and also I had to apply for something I know I could work with, and something I know that aligns with me. So if I'm writing a motivation letter, for example, yes, I'm selling myself, but I'm selling myself towards something I know is achievable for me. I'm not just selling myself because I want to be the very good person. No. I sell myself like, okay, this is what I've done. This is what I know I can do. If you give me the opportunity, this is how I can do it and all that. So that is how it has really worked for me so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, this idea of looking for a good referee, and I think it is relative, because sometimes someone can have all the titles in this world locally in your university, but you cannot trace them online. They have all the publications of this world, but if you go on Scopus or ResearchGate or anywhere, you can't find them. They may write your referee, your recommendation letter or anything. But I think that some things can really help, because I've always said this. If we need to recruit two people, for instance, both of them they've written great application, and we need to take a decision. We might just end up taking their names to Google and like, okay, let's check what's going on. Is there any social media presence tied to these people? It's important. But I know maybe some persons may also want to ask, what caliber of people can recommend you? We may have to get to that during the question and answer section. But it's very important that you strategically choose your referees in such a way that they are able to write things, not just a vague stuff, things that will also in some way align with your application process. For instance, if your motivation is like you want to do financial math, for instance, the person should not be commenting that you'll be good in mathematical biology. The reference you align with what you're saying. And that's why sometimes you may even need to show them some of your application documents before they are able to write for you. So the next question will go to Rachel, which is, I've seen AIMS's African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, and people come with different, backgrounds, computer science, physics, math, and so on and so forth. They go into AIMS. I believe they do a lot of courses. Now, how do you think that you can successfully go to AIMS and the career or what you want at the end of the day, you will still be well prepared in such a way that if you need to do a PhD, or probably, I don't know, depending, some persons may want to do another master's, but let's say you want to do a PhD, as every one of you now are on your PhDs, how were you able to go into that program, do things of your interest, let's say depending on your field, let's say computer science, and those things were sufficient enough to get you into the current program you're doing? I know this might sound like a general question to everyone, and if you want to speak to that, it's okay. So, because I know there are a lot of programs at AIMS when you get into the program. So how were you able to navigate that process? You can also speak to your challenges, courses you took that you were not familiar with, and how it has helped you. We can't hear you. Okay. Check it out. So maybe, do we give you some time to?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
We are sorry that you have to take that thing off. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So my name is Rachel Chalo and I am from Kenya. So about AIMS, one thing is that it exposes to you someone to every kind of like field in the science, in the mathematical sciences. So there is all sorts of courses in statistics, in applied maths, in pure mathematics, in physics also. And so for me, I think at first I did not like that aspect of it because I'm not so good in physics and I did not want to do physics courses. But at some point, even though you're allowed to somewhere in during the course, you can start to choose some subjects which you really want to venture into and which you're more interested in. But from the very beginning, you cannot almost choose because there are some basic courses which are just general to everyone. So the first are pure mathematics courses, we have physics courses, which were also like compulsory, and they really irritated me at first because I was like, I know I don't want to do physics, so why am I doing physics? But now looking back in retrospect, I think they were still good to build me on also to really for me to really know what I really, really want, because I knew I wanted to do something mathematics. I somewhat knew it was statistics, but I wasn't not so sure that that's what I wanted to do. But with all this exposure in all these different subjects in mathematics, I was sure which direction I really want to venture into. And it was also challenging, but it also gave me the opportunity to partner with other people because in the same class, we also have people whose background is physics, whose background is pure mathematics, whose background is applied mathematics and all these sorts of fields. So it gives you the opportunity to interact with people, to get to help you to in these subjects which you're not so good in. And I think that for me was a good way to build me to know that I don't have to do everything alone. It's okay not to know everything, and you can just partner with different people to get through the whole program. And the question again, just before I go out
So the
of like the
question
question
is,
completely. Yeah.
do you think your, BSc, your background, you were
Yeah.
able to navigate or like maintain that trajectory when you went to AIMS? And from AIMS, you also continue in that trajectory to your PhD program. Is it the same program?
Same program as AIMS.
Like your BSc was in what? Like,
Okay, so I'm currently doing my PhD now in the second year of PhD in statistics.
okay, it was your
So
undergrad in statistics?
my undergrad was in mathematics and computer science,
Exactly.
but a
So
major in statistics. Yeah.
exactly, that's the point. So,
Yeah.
you have math background. When you
Yeah.
went to AIMS, you fell in love with all the courses in AIMS. You started taking it because you said you didn't like some at the beginning, but at some
Yeah.
point you found love in statistics,
Yeah,
right?
I did.
And
I did.
now statistics is now what you're exploring.
Yeah.
So this should serve as a motivation to whoever is applying that you have physics does not mean that because the title is mathematical sciences, you can navigate, like you said, it will give you that exposure, the opportunity to work
Yeah.
with people, and you have access
Yeah.
to professors from different parts of the world who are experimenting those courses, be it physics, be it math, be it stat, be it engineering, actuarial science, and the rest. Then from there, you might be
Yeah.
able to do different things at PhD level.
Yeah.
I've seen people who would say, so for instance, your BSc was in math, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to do a PhD in math. Okay, I should reverse this. So let's say someone in computer science, BSc computer science, and they went to AIMS and they're like, oh no, maybe after AIMS, I need to do a master's in computer science before I'm able to do a PhD. That's not true.
Yeah.
You can actually navigate that process in such a way that the courses you will be taking might be related to computer science and still go ahead with your PhD. That's one. Two, you can find a new a new love in research, statistics in the case of, Rachel. And I don't know if anyone may want to talk about how they navigated their, their time, their way into PhD. I don't know if your PhD program you're currently doing is the same thing as what you did at your BSc level, and how AIMS help you found that area. I'm looking forward to anyone who can speak to that.
Okay, I think I can speak on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so my undergrad, I did mathematics with computer science. And currently in my PhD, I'm working on machine learning. So when I was doing my undergrad studies in my final year, like I was thinking of what kind of projects to work on, because we had to work on our research project for a year. And at that time, honestly, I had not heard of machine learning before. I didn't know what it was. Even data science, I didn't know what it was. So one supervisor spoke to me. He taught me computational mathematics, a very, very good mentor of mine. And he told me, Abigail, I think we can work on something called SVM, support vector machines. And I was like, excuse me, what is that? Then he was like, okay, so you're going on vacation. I'm giving you this period to go and read about it and come back the next semester and we'll talk. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I did my reading, and honestly, it was a bit confusing for me. It was confusing. But fast track to going forward, I did my project in machine learning, baby project in machine learning. And I'm very, very proud of that project because it has, opened a lot of doors for me. So when I heard of AIMS, I was like, okay, let me go and do it, because for me, as at that time, I didn't feel ready for a PhD. I didn't know what I wanted to work on. And I heard that AIMS, exposes you to like different fields, like mathematical, biology, epidemiology, data science, climate science. So I was like, okay, let me go and explore 1 year of my life in this. There's no harm in doing so. So I went, and lo and behold, I got into the data science stream. In Cameroon, I don't know about the other centers, but in Cameroon, there are three streams. There's a climate science, data science, and fundamentals, where they do like pure mathematics. That was not for me. So I was so happy when I was put under the data science stream. And that was where I got introduced to like machine learning, the foundation, data science. I was like, okay, wow, this thing like has, big prospects. So from there, after AIMS, I heard of this other program also under AIMS called the African Masters in Machine Intelligence, that solely delves into machine learning and, takes you, it takes you like into machine learning. You do computer vision, you do NLP, you do reinforcement learning, you do different things. So I was like, okay, I really enjoyed machine learning, and I don't know much about it. So let me also go into this program. But I must say that it wasn't like a straightforward route for me. Like, okay, so from AIMS, then I just gradually went into Army. No, it didn't happen like that. But finally, I got into the Army program, and I got exposed to machine learning like very well. And now I'm here doing a PhD in machine learning. So it's not like a straight journey. It hasn't been like a straight journey for me. And, it has, with corners and rounds and all of that. But here I am today doing a PhD in machine learning. You're muted,
Yeah,
Lua.
fantastic. Thank you. Eden, please be preparing. I'll come to you shortly. Abigail, yeah, thank you for that. And I think it makes sense to just give this definition to mathematical sciences we are all talking about. So when people see mathematical sciences, they might just think it's math they are doing there. So mathematical sciences encompasses computer science, math, applied math, actuarial science, physics, machine learning, data science, Basically, quantitative science. That's what I would say. Like the way you can tweak mathematical sciences, you can end up everywhere. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Like my career trajectory is just, I still don't want to say everywhere, but the things I think I've done in my life, my undergrad, I did financial math. My first master's was in mathematics of studying differential equations from mechanics, that's satellite tracking. My master's, second master's was in computational biology, trying to combine numerical analysis and computational biology. My PhD was in modeling human behavior in the society, treating crime as socially infectious diseases. My postdoc is in infectious disease modeling and modeling, bringing in human and social behavior into it. So if you are grounded in quantitative science, there's a lot you can do to it. You can just be everywhere, like you're just adapting the whole thing. So when you see the mathematical sciences, don't think it's not applicable. And I don't mean to, help the organizers to say things right. Even if you're in chemistry or medicine, if you are going to find it, I read someone's thesis who was doing MBBS in the UK. He was using mathematical epidemiology for his research. That fellow, if he's to apply for AIMS, I think they are going to take him because there is a quantitative thing in what he's doing. So let's move to Idem. I hope Idem is there. Miriam, are you able to confirm that? Because, the screen is wider now.
Oh, he's here.
Okay, good. So Idem, I want you to speak to, a lot of people, maybe they feel like, oh, the opportunity of AIMS, is just limited to Africa. And see, most of us, after our AIMS program, we are people are in their PhD program or people who have completed their PhD, they're in different parts of the world. I want you to speak to how you were able to leverage the opportunity at AIMS, letting people know that, okay, when you are in AIMS, it's not about just studying in Africa. As much as research experts, professors, experts from Africa, a reasonable, like a percentage of them come to AIMS to teach, we also have professors from the Western world. Those that are at the top of their field, they come to AIMS to teach as well. How do you think that opportunity will help AIMS students to navigate into their future? I don't know if you took that approach, or I don't know if you've seen people who took that approach during your time. How can students at AIMS navigate or leverage the opportunity at AIMS to helping them advance their career, maybe in terms of getting a fantastic job after AIMS or getting a fantastic PhD or academic offer?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Wahen. I'm currently a PhD student at Michigan State University, where I'm working on high dimensional probability and application to machine learning. Okay, so back to the question you asked. I think it's quite interesting to note that a lot of professors actually come to AIMS for the sole purpose of recruiting students for their project. So AIMS is like a strategic place where if you have the skills, like it kind of like they match you with people who have the funding for you to showcase your talent. So for instance, my PhD opportunity I got, it was through one of the lecturers who came to teach one of the courses, differential geometry. And when he left, he emailed me later that, hey, I think you'll be a good fit for our PhD program. I didn't really check out their school before, but he was like, I think you have a good background for the program. And throughout the program, I met a lot of professors who were like, I think you should apply for this opportunity. You should do this, you should do that. And when he actually said it, in fact, when I checked the school, that wasn't where my focus was. I was looking at other places. I was actually focused on schools in Europe because I didn't want to take courses again. I just wanted to go straight into research. And the American system, you have to do 2 years coursework again before you start doing research. So, but then quite interestingly, this guy was still persisting because I didn't even put in an application, right? The deadline was passed and everything, but he was like, I think you like it here. And to be honest, since I got here, I've really, really enjoyed it here. So I think, yes, AIMS is really a good opportunity for you if you are really prepared there will always be people there. If they don't have the direct opportunity, they know people in places who can actually help you. And I think there's one thing I really want to point out. I think the mistake a lot of people is they come to AIMS with a closed mind. They're like, oh, I want to do algebra, so this is exactly what I'm looking for. But sometimes you might not necessarily get exactly what you want, but then there might be other ways that will lead you back to the same algebra you wanted to do, because for instance, this professor here that I'm talking about, he was telling me the last year he was talking to another student from AIMS, because he does geometry. The guy didn't want to apply for his school because he thought they only do geometry. But then, as I was saying, a lot of these people out there, when they see talent, they know it. So even if you don't necessarily need to work with him. If you feel like he knows somebody who can work with you, I think it's worth it to really open your mind, be open-minded, and try so many things, and you'll definitely get something interesting out of it. I hope that answered the question.
Fantastic. So, when I went to AIMS, my advisor who supervised my AIMS thesis, when I left AIMS and I was doing PhD, he kept in touch. He was following up with me, even though he was not the one supervising me. I mean, for some reason, my advisor connected me to his parents in another country. Like his parents picked interest in me. I'm like, oh, this is our son's student at AIMS. I'm like, look at that extension. Even when I was doing my PhD thesis, they sent their support. They were like, yes, this guy is doing PhD, is our academic son through PS. PS has been a huge support for me. Ever since I went to AIMS, my recommendation letter has always been there for me, and some of my, professors as well. So I just tell people, as quantitative scientists, maybe I shouldn't say like mathematicians, put your energy in where the success rate is high. Some persons are not ripe to apply to certain places. Some persons still need to go through some route before they get to their destination. For me, AIMS was the eye-opener. If I had not gone to AIMS, I would not have been able to imagine the things I can do for myself. When I finished from AIMS and I came back to Nigeria to do my PhD, a lot of people were like, oh, how are you going to do your PhD in Nigeria, in Africa? I did my PhD. The requirement was 3 years, and I completed my PhD within that period. Why? Because I came with the knowledge I acquired from AIMS. It's for a start, I was the one who started my presentation, with LaTeX, Beamer presentation everywhere. Each presentation I gave at the department would be very colorful. My thesis was written in LaTeX. In fact, we had to go to PG school and for them to change their rule that submit doc, words. They now said, okay, you can submit Word as well as your LaTeX file. So I encourage anyone out there, if you have the opportunity of applying to AIMS, apply. If you need, advice, you can reach out to us. Hopefully, we might be able to, still bring people together in a WhatsApp group in such a way that you can ask your questions, and the speakers who are here at your leisure time, you can just pop in, respond to it. Of course, we don't want you to get burned out because there are a lot of things taking our attention these days, but we're just hoping that we'll be able to mentor people. And I've seen a few people who were part of this webinar last year and they were selected. I don't know if you guys are free to just pop up and share your current AIMS experience. I saw Kester. I don't know if you are still there. If you want to just share your AIMS experience, what you see. Let me see if I'm able to see people. I saw Kester. I saw Grace. I don't know if there is any other person that, are currently at the AIMS Center. If you would like to just share your experience, you were here last year, you attended the program, you followed up with some of the, hints and advice, and how did you do that? How did you do that? How are you coping with AIMS currently? if you want to share your experience. I know I saw Kester and I saw Grace, but I don't know if you guys are still there. And Marvelous is also here. Yeah. You can.
Good evening. Good evening.
But for some reasons, we can't see you or you. But it's okay if you can. Okay.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on your current location. My name is Kester, and I'm currently a master student at Ames Cameroon Center. Okay. I'll be very fast. I first of all want to thank our host.
That
Dr.
thought,
Shegun.
before I'm going to forget. Kester, it seems you and Irene probably went to the same university, so you can check after the program. I'm not so sure. I might forget. Thank you. Sorry for
Okay. No problem, no problem. Okay, so as I said, I'm currently a master student at Ames Cameroon Center. Okay, so last year I was privileged to be part of this webinar where we were trained, we were tutored, we were guided on how best to apply for the program, and it's worth it. All right, it's worth it. The information, the wealth, or I believe that life is actually knowledge based. All right, if you don't know something, if you don't know how to go about something, you may not necessarily be able to go about it the best way. You understand? So I want to appreciate Dr. Shegun for his and every other resource person last year who sacrificed their time and energy to be around to guide us on how best to apply. And it was what it's stressful. Yes, of course, it was stressful because the filling the form, but at the end of the day, it was worth it. So just like he said, the experience has been amazing, honestly speaking. But truth be told, it has been stressful. All right, I mean that your time of rest, your time of sleep will be cut short.
minimum
But
sleep.
at the end of the day, it's you have been, yes. Somebody said it's African Institute of Minimum Sleep, so not just mathematical sciences, but it's minimum sleep. All right. Even today, I just finished. Today being Saturday, we just finished 2 presentations, and it's amazing. Just like you said, that many skills will be developed. All right. Before now, I had little or no knowledge in programming skills, and I've improved tremendously over since I started. All right, is it the being able to do your work on LaTeX, or being able to do your Python programming, or even arrow programming, or so many things. And it's like, I don't know how best to put it, but the truth is that Ames is a place where people are made. All right, they will take your they will drain you, stretch you, but at the end of the day, it is for your own good. It's just as if somebody is coming to refine you and then make you better for yourself, and put your name in a place where you'll be proud of yourself tomorrow. So it is amazing. And without saying much, I want to say that our time for those of us that are currently applying for the next cohort, you are not actually wasting your time, right? You're applying for something that you're not paying anything for. They are paying everything for you, from your flight ticket to everything. The whole period you'll be staying there, everything you have been taken care of. And at the end of the day, they will still give you the certificate in your name. Come on. I don't think there's anything that is actually much more better than that. You understand?
Thank you so much, Kester. We are very, very grateful.
That is actually that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I need to make this remark. When I won the AIM scholarship and I was to go to Rwanda, I was called upon by, I can't remember this lady's name. And she was like, hello, are you Oluwasegun Ibrahim? Check your email. You've been selected for AIMS. Can you travel next week? I'm like, I don't have a passport. And, I got my passport within 1 week, and they sent, my ticket, because in fact, I think I was among the last set that resumed. And the following week, my ticket was ready. When I got to Rwanda, for me, I've never had such a luxury before in my life. It was my first time flying as well. When I got to Rwanda, a jeep was actually waiting for me to pick me at the airport. That luxury, it was the first time in my life. And when I got to Ames, for me, I was not paired with any other student, probably because I was the last person that came. So the whole room, the luxury was just for me. But besides this, I think it's also important for us to say that apart from the academic knowledge you are going to gain, there is something that is very important that is lacking in African students, which is ability to communicate. AIMS teach you that communication skills. If you like, keep solving all the problems in the world. If you're unable to communicate, if you're unable to speak, if you're unable to say it in such a way that people will be able to understand, then you're playing. So maybe people from Ghana, they may want to speak because Kester from Cameroon has spoken. People from Ghana, if you would like to speak, you can unmute yourself, who were part of the program last year. I think I'm seeing Marvelous face, right? Yeah, I think that's the first I'm saying. Do you want to speak?
Good evening. Good evening. Can you
Go ahead, please. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shegun. My name is Marvelous. I am currently at AIMS Ghana. Sometime last
You guys
year,
are chilling, you are bubbling. That's why you are smiling this way.
I'm smiling because sometime last year I was in this same webinar and I was amazed by the amount of people I was privileged to hear from. And today I'm right here. So first thing first, I want to give accolades to Mr. Shegun, to STEAM City, and to everyone who has spoken today. I've also picked one or two things from everything you've all said. So yeah, to those of us that are aspiring to apply to AIMS, I would really want to encourage that you do, because for me, well, yeah, what I've seen and observed is that AIMS, aside the academic work, AIMS give you a platform to dream more and to dream far. Because before coming to AIMS, I don't think I always wish to want to, go outside Africa. Is it possible? How will I? But but I'm here now and I'm dreaming of, wanting to do more for myself in my career path. And that is what AIMS build you for. It gives you the tools. I was speaking to one of our tutors. He is not really a tutor, but someone in the AIMS program doing his postdoc, and he made me realize how AIMS is just about giving you a platform, build on the platform with all the benefits available here. I mean, the internet, the lecturers that are coming, the tutors that are there, you can build a lot from that. And the whole experience is really thrilling and it's something worthwhile. So yeah, AIMS is really worth it. So give it a shot if you can.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are running out of time. Let me see if Olamide, that is currently in AIMS Rwanda, let me see if you are online, if you can just speak based on your experience before we go into question and answer section. Olamide, are you there? You are there. Finally.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Olamide. So it's actually a good one for me. One of the things I think it has people from the guy from Ghana and also the guy from Cameroon said it all. But one thing I would just like to add is it's actually a place to see deeper things in your background. For me, when I came to AIMS Rwanda, I thought I knew everything about statistics. But the first test I wrote, I got 3/10. So it was as if I don't know anything at all. So it's actually a place whereby you get to know more, about your particular what you love actually. And it's a place where they'll teach you a lot of things, just like a stepping stone to higher places. So.
Thank you so much, Olamide. Let it not be that all the people that were successful were guys. We also had ladies that were successful. They were here last year, and they were also successful. But I don't know why they are not popping up their camera. Anyway, I saw someone right now. I used to hear Grace. How did we met in University of Benin? That was where we started from. So share your experience from before you applied to when you apply and what you're doing right now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Grace. So I met Dr. Shagun in at University of Benin. I think then I was in final year. So he told me about aims and that I should go for it, that I'm smart and this one. Okay. So um when the link came up, when the application was opened, he sent me the application link and all. So I started the application. So during the time of the webinar, that was when I had to meet people. Thanks to Mr. Shego, Dr. Shego, Dr. Toib, and every other person I disturbed. I really disturbed a lot of people. So they guided me through the application, also the webinar. I also used Dr. Shegun's one application drafts, like the questions and everything. So I also used that too for my application. The application period was not easy, honestly, because that I had to, most of the questions, I had to sit down to think and think, so that, because I feel that everybody, there are so many people that are applying. Like, for example, our academic director told us that 800 people applied to AIMS Ghana, and it shows, I think, they shows 40, I think we're 48 in AIMS Ghana, and 800 people applied to AIMS Ghana. So there's one thing that kept coming to my mind then when I was applying, that you're not the only one that has first class. You're not the only one that is a girl. You're not the only one that, like, there are other people that are going to apply, and there are other competitors. So you have to make your own the best. You have to put in the effort. So those period, I had to put in the effort. Sometimes I'll be thinking of what to write until I sleep. When I wake up, I already have what to write. So I didn't rush my application. I took my time to write. I took my time to express myself. So I think, so for those that are aspiring to apply this year, I want you to take your time. Don't rush the application, because if you rush it, like, there's no need for you to rush it. Since it's March, daily make progress. You may not finish everything in a day, but daily make progress in it. And yeah,
Thank you.
my
Thank you
okay.
so much. Thank you so much. Because of the time, we want to start entertaining questions now. Some places have started dropping their questions, but if you will be able to ask verbally, we're going to give you the chance of asking the question. If what's her name? If I'm trying to remember. If any of the AIM students are still there, you can just on your camera and just say "I." You may not have to say anything because of the time. So please, our speakers are here and they are ready to, like, answer your questions. If you have questions, concerns concerning the application itself, if you have started, if you have not started, I don't want to speak, but I'm aware that there is an upgrade in the application process now, that you might have to be able to solve some things before you're able to submit your application. If you need to ask the question, ask them, let them speak, let them tell you their experience, what they've observed, and how you can go about it. If there's a way they want to help, they may also say something about that. So if you want to ask questions, just raise up your hand, use that symbol. Let me identify you. Then after that, we will be able to take the questions on in the chat box. Thank you. So let me see if there are hands that are being raised. No hands. Okay. Okay. Mosh, let me start with Moshi. Can you ask your question? Moshi, can you ask your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for organizing this session. Someone like
Tell
me
us
would
your name
actually.
and your university or your current
Yeah.
affiliate.
So Oladejala Ali Moshood, but I like being called Moshood, so that's the Moshi you saw there.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I was a graduate of Lagos State University, right?
Okay.
And I heard about AIMS some while back, right? I think
I graduated around 2015 though. So there was this person that I was like maybe 2 years ahead of them. So she graduated, I graduated, and she engaged me like, ah, Moshe, yeah, let's apply for this thing. So we were supposed to apply around that time though, but I wasn't really
What
serious with
Okay,
it.
don't worry, I have a name.
time?
I have
Yeah.
a name. My name is
Oh, okay,
Miriam.
okay. Yeah. So mine is I've tried applying before and I didn't get chosen. So I think I dropped a chat there to say how can I engage you like in person? Like I need a guide on how to actually go through the process. Because I've applied again myself. It didn't really work out the way it's supposed to. So that's my question. Basically. How can one engage you so the application becomes successful?
So before like talking about personal engagement, who among the speakers may want to talk about what can be affecting someone's application success rate, or what can affect your success rate? Who among the applicants? Okay, Irene, yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I think the questions I'll ask is the AIM center you were trying to apply to. Yeah, because as at the time I was applying, a lot of people wanted to AIM South Africa then.
I wanted to.
So when you apply to AIMS, for example, you have to like weigh a lot of things, like there are places a lot of people want to go to. And considering the fact that the more graduates or the more graduates they're having from AIMS, the more the information is going out. It means that more and more people are fighting for this opportunity. So yeah, you said you applied the first time and you didn't get it. One, you could also consider changing a lot of things, like the way you applied the first time, maybe your later, I don't know the questions you're asking nowadays, but you could also try to review what you wrote about yourself, or you could review their aspect. Another thing is you could try swapping your referee. Then another thing is you could try changing the centers too. Probably instead of going to South Africa or Rwanda, you could try Ghana or Cameroon. So there are a lot of things you can just swap around and it will work out. Just one thing I know about scholarships and opportunities like this is you don't give up. If you don't get it the first time, you try, you change. It's more like you're just trying different things. One of them will work out for you. Yeah, so that's what I can just say about.
Thank you so much. Any other addition to that? Okay, go ahead, Rachel.
Okay. Yeah, so then what I want to emphasize about what Irina said is like the referees, because AIMS for sure contacts the referees that you gave them to give a recommendation. And what happened for me, because I applied also twice, and the first time that I had applied, I gave the name of my referees, but I did not contact them to tell them that I gave their name to AIMS to contact them, because I didn't actually know that AIMS would contact them or anything like that. So I missed the opportunity on that they did not reply back
You were
to
busy.
AIMS. Yeah. And so the second time I was so sure to write them and remind them, or just in case AIMS writes to you, I am your student, because they were my lecturers, but I thought they knew me because I knew them so well, but unfortunately they didn't know me as well. I thought they would. So the referees is also like a key point to consider.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Miriam,
I follow up on that. First of all, the person who asked that question, I know him very well. And I am the person who told him to apply to AIMS because he was my tutor and study partner in school. So I was like, Moshood, you have to apply to AIMS. But I think one thing for me is the first time I applied, I didn't like complete it. It was shabby. Like, yeah, it was so shabby. So the second time, I think I took a lot of time on the questions asked, then also emphasis on the referee. Because most times they'll tell you to write it yourself, like write the referee, like the reference letter yourself. So you have to put so much work in it and make sure you also know the profile of the person you are like going to pick as your referee. Like I don't say your lecturer one or lecturer two are not like good enough, but you want to pick someone who is really, really out there, really relevant. And when you pop his name on Google, like relevant research come up. So you want to like also check the profile of the person you want to pick as a referee. Like it might be in Africa, but they do their thing, so they also vet properly. So
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, it may not always be the truth, but maybe I just recommend that your referee should at least have a PhD. Maybe that might be okay. But and let them be out there for you to, when they Google their name, people should be able to see that name, right? Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I think. Thank you so much for the addition. Mr. Oluwasegun, you are bearing the same first name. Interesting. Can you speak? Mr. Oluwasegun, are you there? I'm seeing you do your hand like this, like power to the people. Oh, I guess we have to move to the next person. Stephen, are you
Yes,
there?
yes.
Oh, okay. Can you
Yeah,
ask your
greetings,
question?
everyone. Okay, greetings, everyone.
Greetings, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really grateful and I've really learned a lot. Okay, so my questions are, the first is, towards the end of the application, like I was applying, filling out the form and got towards the end and I saw some mathematics questions. Okay, the thing is, I graduated since 2019. I'm a graduate of mathematics from the University of Jos. So I graduated since 2019, and since then I've not solved any mathematical questions like the ones I saw, and it was optional. So my question is, since it's optional, should I just submit without solving the questions, or I should just, I'm scared of trying and making a fool out of myself. I don't know how to put. I don't want it to weaken my application. I don't want it to weaken my application. And I really want to solve the questions, but looking at it since 2019 till now, so I don't want it to weaken my application. I'm just like that.
Okay, thank you so much. Irene, do you want to respond? Because I see you with.
Okay. First off, when you have a question, you answer the question, whether it's optional or not, just answer. Secondly, I feel like even if you've left school for that long, I don't think that the questions will be that difficult. One thing I would say is probably you could go through the questions, like if the questions are available, like you saw them, and try to see how best. I think, and one thing you should know is answering the questions correctly is not a guarantee you will get it, and answering it incorrectly is not a guarantee that you will not get it. I think it is more like want to see your effort. Like, I don't know, this is not the first time I'm seeing an application where they have to put like some little maths or something to just, I just feel like they just want to get like they just want to see the level of your understanding. And this could also play in the fact that different people are applying. So you have those applying from physics, you have those applying from engineering, you have those applying from other areas. So it's more like, okay, let's just test their ability. And I don't think it's going to probably really affect you, but I would suggest that you attempt. Like, don't just leave it because it's optional. No, I won't advise you leave it. Just try as much as you can to see how you can answer it. I don't have an idea of the question, so I cannot even tell like how you can really go about the questions. But for those that did, like those that are available that are in AIMS right now, like those that got the admission last year, if they had the same questions before the final submission, they could also help you and tell you how they were able to attempt the questions, and I think that will help.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I just want to add something to what Irene said. Yeah. Oluwa, can I go ahead?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, so I found out from Oluwasegun that now there's you have to answer like math questions and I was surprised. So I actually like created a profile as if I'm applying for AIMS just so that I could really, verify, and it's actually true. Now, what is great about AIMS as compared to AMI the machine learning program is that here you are not timed. So when you start for AIMS, when you start the application, you can always like go back to it. So you have the questions. You have friends who can help you. Of course, they're saying it should be your own work. I'm not saying go and let people solve the question for you, but you can seek help and make sure that you understand it yourself and write it in the way you understand it. Unlike Ami, we had just 15 minutes. You start the, for us, we had calculus, probability, Python programming, linear algebra, and yeah, 5 things.
When you
And
say
it's just,
AMI, what do you mean by that? So that they can
sorry, so I mean African Masters in Machine Intelligence. That's a machine learning program. We had 15 minutes. When you start the application and you choose the date for your test, you are timed. After 15 minutes, whatever happens, the thing has ended. Then you now start the application. So I'm quite grateful in a way that AIMS has not adopted that system yet. So that should not really stop you from applying. And it's true that maybe you may feel rusty now, but when if you really want to go to the AIMS program, now should be the opportunity to start revising, going back to your things that you learned. And when you also go to AIMS, they will top it up for you. There's this skilled phase where they take everybody through some, mathematical concepts, physics, statistics, just to bring everybody up to par in a way. But you also need to start now if you really, really want to go to AIMS. That's what I want to add.
Thank you so much. So John, what would you recommend? Because because whoever is going to AIMS right now, you're applying, or by the time you get to AIMS, there's something that is important. There's a skill you need to know. That networking skill is very important. If you are seeing a question, you don't understand it, how do you think one can navigate through the process? I haven't gone through AIMS, and hope that the applicants can also use it to handle what they are going through.
I would like to mention a little bit of so many things at a very short time. Then one, before I answer what you have told me to answer, how I got AIMS, someone forwarded me a link. We applied together at the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences in AIMS, Rwanda. And during that time, the election was very competitive. We a short exam, which would be selected. I think we were 8 who were shortlisted, and they ended up selecting around 50. Then after going back to the emergency list, they later added 10. So whoever forwarded me the list, the link, we applied together, we were shortlisted, we did the exams. She was not selected, but I was selected. That we had a first class. So for those who have first class, is it a must to be selected when you apply for the as a matrix of selection? And the selection criteria, remember this application is a process, is not an event. The selection criteria for AIMS varies with the years, and they keep revising it. And because you have seen that they have started to introduce exams, it's because the prior selection criteria was giving them some outliers who are not performing very well in the. I know I have been in contact with some of the students who are currently at AIMS centers. Some of them have not been performing well, and they are trying to struggle at AIMS. As far as those questions which have been added as part of the application criteria, what I can say, their selection will accumulate so many factors. And the main reason why they have added those questions, they want to know whether you have the face of AIMS students. African Institute for Mathematical Sciences is unique in a way because it is one of the unique programs in the world. You are going to complete a quality, let me say a quality 10-month if you are doing the structured master's degree within 10 months, or if you are doing a COP within 18 months. And the way the courses which are being taught there, they take around 3 weeks per course. And within those 3 weeks, you are going to learn a lot. So the exam is not meant to be the only determinant in selection, but they want to see whether you have the idea of what is going to happen in AIMS. So one way which helps students to answer those questions is because they want to know if you are honest. First thing, don't cheat. Don't cheat. Don't use ChatGPT. Don't think that they don't know that there is ChatGPT. There is ChatGPT, and they will know if you use it. So just try to think. If you can type the question in Word or in LaTeX, just type your answers slow by slow. There is still time. If the deadline is on 29th of March, and now we are even the mid of February, still have around 40 to 50 days. So you can take time. And I don't know whether there is a programming question there. So they want to get the idea. If you have the idea, then you might have chances of being selected. Remember, the selection of aims is very competitive. Not forgetting that they will only select around 300 students for the aims from an application pool of around maybe 6,000 to 7,000. You can calculate your success rate. And I have seen here we are around 50 minus the invited guests. So the 35 of you or 40 who have come here, how I hope that all of you are going to be successful at being selected this year. It is very easy. Okay.
So, yeah, thank you, John. I mean, what I would just say before we move to the next question is that, you see, people go into exams and they solve and they answer their questions in a different way. Whichever way you think you want to use to answer that question, what I would just say is this. As you're answering the questions, make sure you are writing it in a way that the readers will know that you are the author of this answer. Yes, because even when you're at AIMS, there are group works and all that. People discuss, they share idea. I don't think there is a big deal, if you need to look for resources out there for you to understand better. Textbooks, read, see YouTube videos to understand the concept, since you can always go back, to submit your application. But one thing is very important. You need to understand the problem you are solving and the answers you are writing down. And I tell you, bring in your personality, your vibe into the answer you are writing. If you just want to, there's a way you write that whoever is looking at it will know that I doubt if this person have the understanding of this. Don't forget he said it. He also applied with a fellow first class, but they picked him, they didn't pick that person, right? Not because the person didn't have a first class, but he probably wrote something different. It's about tweaking. Maybe they call it packaging. You're trying to package yourself in such a way that the person that is examining your work is having a feel that, having this person as a student is a plus to us. You are writing the correct question, but we're also seeing the vibe. It's also making sense. Then we just need this person at AIMS. Let's move to the next person, which is, I'm finding it hard to pronounce this name, Khondwani. Khondwani.
Yes, it's Kondwani Banda.
Great. Your name, where are you
Yes.
from? Which country are you from?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to, depending on where you are. Okay. My name's Kondwani Banda from Zambia.
Interesting.
Yes, I did electrical engineering at undergrad from the Copper Belt University here in Zambia. Yes. So prior to this year's advert by EMS, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about EMS. Yeah, but one of my friends from one of my friends who's in EMS Rwanda sent me a link to say, bro, I know you're good at mathematics and all that. I think you can try this. And yeah, so I took any interest to know about EMS. And yes, I've been watching videos on YouTube, what EMS is all about. I've read about the centers. So, yeah. So my question is, sorry. When I saw the advert that was
when it was first published. That was on the 15th of January. I think I submitted my application a week later. But since then, I've been modifying my application. So my question is there an implication to you changing or modifying your application every now and then?
Any other
Yes,
question?
that's my first.
Okay.
Then
So-
other question. Pardon?
Yes, speak, please.
Okay. Yes, I don't know if you got my first question.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Yes, and on the with regards to the referees, we are required to submit two names or references. Yes. Does AIMS contact all of them? Yeah, coming from African university, we
thank you so
usually
much.
don't know everyone. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, I had a lot to say. Sorry, it's a lot. It's everywhere. And I just wanted to give some advice on the guys who were talking about the equation and all that. For me, I'm coming from a background of electrical engineering and all that, so I don't know most about the pure part of mathematics. I only did we only applied some mathematics. So I just did some research. I saw some probability. I researched on Bayes' theorem, total probability, and all that. There was also matrix calculus and linear algebra. So you can look at that and try to learn, then answer in your own way. Yeah, in your own unique way. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So 3 things he mentioned: giving general advice about the application process, asking whether they will contact the referees, and what is the first one? Updating, I won't call it changing, updating your application with that
Yes.
success. So,
yes.
Muhammadu, are you there? Would you like to respond to that? Rachel, would you like to respond?
I would like to respond, but about the referees, not about the updating of the submission, because I'm not so sure about that. But for the referees, I think AIMS contacts the 2 referees, but even if they contact just one of them, why would you have one of them whom you would not like them to contact? Because what happens if they contact, because you don't know whom they will contact if they just choose to contact one of them. So I would say it's just safe to have the 2 referees whom you're sure that they will really recommend you when called upon.
Okay.
So I'll leave for anyone who knows how.
So, is Idem there? Do you think updating the application process will hurt anything?
Yeah, I think maybe in your letter trying to write, like showcase what you have that kind of matches the focus of the center, because as some people pointed out earlier, every center and what they really focus on. So maybe if you can tailor your application to really suit the research interest of that particular center, I think that could also be something useful.
Yeah, but I think he's asking like updating your information. Yes, I get the point that, if you realize that a center is doing something, you can begin to adapt your application towards that route. But I think, to the best of my knowledge, changing or updating your application portal, since you have not submitted, I don't think it should hurt it.
No.
Yeah, that's the way I see it. But of course, it's important that you adapt your application. And it's good to mention this. I think some centers have some area of specialization. So when you are writing your letter of motivation, please investigate the centers. If the center is doing climate science, math, biology, and you are saying your motivation is actuarial science, well, I'm not saying it's not possible, but you could imagine who will be reading your application and the kind of vibe they will be giving to it. Lazarus, can you ask your question? Please be fast. Just your name and your country, then just ask your question.
Good evening. My name is Lazarus from Nigeria, graduate of the University of Jos. I have this question, and And I just feel probably Abigail, the lady, machine learning lady, I think she'll be in a good position to respond to this question. Actually, I applied for Army, but then my first question is, I heard that most people that are actually picked from Army are mostly for other students that graduated from AIMS. Maybe some students are actually different.
Second question, please.
Yeah. So how true is that? So now the second question is, if you actually studied, if you actually, for you to actually say it out when applying for the Army. So those are two of my questions. I want to.
I didn't get the second one.
Abigail, because of time, maybe you should respond to the first question.
Okay, I didn't get the second question.
Because we can't get the second one.
Okay, now the second question. Are you getting me?
Yes, please go ahead quickly.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking the second question is I actually have a master's in mathematics. Thesis title Newton's
Please,
method.
can you ask your second question?
Yes. So, is it a good idea to actually point it out to them in your application that you actually have another master's degree?
Okay, thank you. Abigail, please respond.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question, I think you asked about if many people from Army are from AIMS. Well, so far in what I've seen, yes, most of the students from Army are people who have gone to AIMS, but not, of course, not everybody. There are also like people who just have a bachelor's degree and also got into the program, and then also like people who did other masters somewhere not under AIMS, but then also in the program. For the second question, to be honest, I didn't really get it. I don't know if Oluwasegun, you got it. I didn't hear it very
I think
well.
what you say, you
You
said,
have two devices on. Okay.
yeah, I'm coming. Okay, so what he's trying to say is, can he add his master's degree to the application? Oh, yes, you have to like tell them everything you do, but I will guarantee you that Army is not just all AIM student. I and one of my friends, we also applied, but we didn't get in. And I think during my section, we also had the Army student around too. I think they had like probably just 10 people who went to AIMS. Like majority were like non-AIM students. But one thing I know they had for sure, they had masters. So I think your master's degree would be a very, very good thing for you to like add to your application.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mariam. So yeah, she's answered.
Musa, can you ask your question?
All right, greetings,
Very
everyone.
brief, please, yeah.
All right, my question is regarding the referees. I would like to know when the referees will be contacted.
Okay. Any other question?
No, that'll be all.
Okay. And please, someone should note that down. How about James? What's your question?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, please speak.
Okay, my name is Kating Siyinda James, graduate of statistics from University of Jos. My question is, in the application process, they said we have to, is it answer a dozen questions or write a dozen questions too that are on the, what do I call it, on the tab? So I'm not, I'm like confused with the whole application process because they're asking us that is it that we are setting the question or we are going to answer questions that they are going to set on the portal for this year?
So are you asking that the applicants expected to answer all the questions on the application portal? Is that your question?
or are we to set, because they said in the application process that we are to set at least a dozen questions on, let's say, mathematics, then at least one question, is it one or two from programming?
Abigail, did you see anything like that on the application portal when you?
No. So what I saw were 3 questions. One was on derivatives, and yeah, the other was on something with logic, and yeah. So I didn't see any programming there. No, I didn't see any programming there.
Okay, so
Okay,
then
thanks.
the other question about referees, something like that, who can respond to that?
Maybe I
When it
can.
comes to contacting the referees, nobody has an idea when and how they we have no idea about that. We only know that they're going to contact the referee. But one thing I can tell is, or one thing my intuition will say is that until they're done, like everybody's done with the application process, they will do their shortlisting, trying to get the ones that are not so okay. I think probably towards the final round, when they're setting, like when you're doing an application or when someone is trying to is like recruit people, there are certain steps that are being taken. So the referee part, nobody knows which day, which time, which month it's going to be done. But one thing we're certain of is that they're going to contact the referee. So they don't give a date. They won't even tell you they're contacting your referees. They don't give any information about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, in those days, I think it was automatic, right? But I don't know if there are delays right now. Let's go back to Oluwasegun. Are you still there to ask your question?
Okay.
Yeah, speak, Abigail.
Yeah, Oluwasegun. So sorry, just to confirm, I just went back to the portal to quickly pretend like I was answering the questions. They are just 3 questions. So they're just 3 questions. There's no programming. It's only mathematics and problem solving. So linear algebra, calculus, some logic, and then probability. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much. Musa, do you still want to say something?
Yes, sir. Please, through what medium? Is it through their email or direct call?
What do you mean by medium? Do you mean contacting referees?
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir.
It's definitely email.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be via email. Because even if you use someone, let's say I'm on the committee to pick people, for instance, let's say you use my friend as a referee, I'm not even going to call him. I'm not even going to behave as if I know my friend, because we have to follow the process. I think it should be email, and you may want to also follow up with them by asking the like email, requesting them to send their recommendation. But you as applicant, I think you should also follow up with your referees, because sometimes they are busy. And you don't want them to just write, he's a good student, he was a good student and all that. Miriam, you want to say
I
something?
think one thing you also want to do is whoever you're picking as your referee, you need to have a good relationship with them. You want to be able to call your referee and be like, hello, sir, I know you're very busy, but can you please attend to the email sent by Ames? You need to have a good relationship with them. You can't just pick any lecturer that has no clue or no idea about you. You've not even informed them that you're going to drop them as your referee. So first thing you want to do, you're going to ask them via email, "Sir, I'm applying, or ma'am, I'm applying for for this particular school, and I need your permission to drop your name as my referee." You need to have that acceptance, like they accept to be your referee. And when you drop their name as your referee, you also want to follow back, like follow up with them to see, to make sure that they like send that recommendation letter for you. So you want to have a relationship with them. Don't just pick anybody to be your referee. They won't
Well,
listen to you. They won't even bother.
thank you so much, Miriam. Someone is asking if you can use referee that is not from your school, like someone who has taught you before. I just think that if you've done something with them before, you can use them as referee, whether they're in your school or not. But just make sure that they're able to say something, they're able to connect, what they're doing or the relationship. They're able to establish a relationship between both of you professionally, like career-wise. I think that would be fine. You don't have to be in your school, but you must have been doing something together, or you have done something together, or they have supervised you before. So someone said he has second class lower grade. That can he apply? What do you think? Do you know what? I think most of our education system is the same in Africa, right? So second class, what do you suggest? Yes, speak, please. John, you want to speak?
Oh, okay. In terms of secondary class, lower division, sometimes from the experience I have and what I have seen is from 2021, 2022, 2023, and from what I've just seen in terms of, because I have some students who have been selected.
John, can you be fast in your response?
Sometimes the grant, yes, the grant doesn't matter. You also consider how you answer some of the questions they ask in the application system. That is very important because their selection depends on a very tight matrix, which uses so many criteria to select the final student. Sometimes even those who are passed, they end up. There's someone who's talking again.
Yes, who is that person?
Omotayo.
Yeah, continue to speak.
Yes, I'm saying sometimes people have sometimes people have first class, they end up missing. And sometimes people have second class, lower division, they end up getting. Like, for example, in our class in Rwanda, most of them end second class, lower division, and they were selected and they did better. So it depends with their selection matrix of that year, because they have a very tight selection matrix, very rigorous in every year.
Thank
so
you.
Don't lose hope. Just apply. The important
Thank you for
is to
that.
apply, get shortlisted first.
Yeah, the selection matrix, right? It's that dynamics is very, very special because your country, the pool of applicants from your country, if they are mostly second class lower or second class upper, I think you can navigate through that process. But if the pool of applicants from your country are first class, I didn't have a first class when I applied. I had 2-1, second class upper, maybe 4 point something over 5.0. But I think you need to bring other things to the table. This joke, right? What did you bring to the table? So if you think you do not have a first class, you need to bring more things to the table. So for instance, someone who has a first class who will just submit the application and go home. For you, as you are writing your response to the questions, you are writing it in such a way that the responses are in alignment with AIM's mission and vision. After solving the pure math question, you are trying to say that one of the problems that AIMS is trying to solve in Africa is to use this pure math to do a cryptography problem. You can you see what you are bringing to the table in your leadership skills? You are trying to write your statement of purpose and you are trying to say that, so person at AIMS is one of my mentor, is a far mentor whose way of life I've adapted in trying to actualize. You see what you are bringing to the table? Or you are trying to quote some data about AIMS success. For the past 10 years, AIMS has established this. My ultimate goal will also be to establish a similar blah, blah, blah in helping this to do this. So you have to bring a lot of things to the table. Volunteering, you are there. Leadership, you are there. Everything, you are there. So that when they look at you, okay, you don't have first class, but you have other things. So it's very important. When I was at AIMS, I met people with second class lower, second class upper, and first class. So it depends on how you tweak it. And one thing is also important, as you're applying to AIMS, it's not also about AIMS. I think whatever you put into AIMS now will form your own application portfolio in such a way that in future, if you need to apply for other things, All what you need to do is to keep adapting the application document. Someone asked if we will be able to provide some materials that could help them. Yes, we do that on a yearly basis. Those who register for this webinar, if you have not registered, you can still go there and register so that we can have you on our database. We are going to send some maybe materials across, or if we are unable to do that, we may try to send a WhatsApp link in such a way that if you join, if you have any other questions, you can ask those questions. And we, once in a while, I hope the speakers or the volunteers, myself, we just pop in, answer the question and go, you know. We might be, then if any of the speakers or volunteers are here, who are here, have one or two documents you think you can share. Me personally, I've shared my document, and it's still one of the things we're going to share. If you have other things you may want to also share with us, for us to share with the applicant, we'll be happy to do that. You can cover any form of sensitive information if you think you have to do so. Can I apply for AIMS seeing that I don't have my transcript yet? I don't know if any of you guys apply without transcript. Is that possible?
So I know of someone who did from Nigeria. Yeah, she didn't have a master's degree. She had a bachelor's degree, but so when you say transcript, like the final thing, it was not ready. But
the raw
yeah, yeah, the final thing was not ready. But she had a transcript as at that point, like not the final transcript. Like even in your third year or this, you can get a transcript. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Yes, but I know somebody who did. Yeah.
Just to inform everyone that the time we schedule for this meeting is 2 hours, so it's 2 hours already. We spent almost 15 minutes waiting for people to join us. So I don't know if I don't know if you have things budget like that you have to do, maybe you may be able to leave, but if you can still spare us like 15 minutes because of the 15 minutes we wasted at the beginning trying to wait for people to come in, let's see what we can do within the next 15 minutes, just to let you know so that we don't just, do this thing without, we don't want to take you for granted. Thank you so much if you are able to wait. Someone said he has a BS in Science Laboratory Technology. Can he or she apply for AIMS?
Which program?
Science Laboratory Technology. Can they apply for AIMS if they have that in their undergrad? Like their major in undergrad?
So your transcript, if you have taken courses like calculus, linear algebra, probability, some statistics, you can. As long as you want to, when you can explain why the program would help you, why not? Give it a try.
Yeah, and can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so to add to that, I think it's good when writing your statement of purpose or motivation letter to outline those courses you did and how it aligns to your research interests or your research interests and how that's going to help you if you secure the scholarship.
Thank you. Abraham Uluwasegun, we are calling on you for the third time. Are you there? I guess it's slept off. So as someone is asking, I'll be rounding up my exam in September, which will be later. How do I go about it upon being admitted? If you'll be rounding up your exam in September and the application deadline is March, I don't know how you may want to go about it. Maybe you can, like Abigail said, I mean, most of the students now, you have your transcript automated. You can go to the transcript portal and download what you have thus far and save it as PDF and upload it. Or if your HOD can oblige to roll out your transcript up to your final year first semester and sign it and give to you, you can also use that. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. How can I register? I mean, if you started from the beginning, I think we had the document shared, but the WhatsApp link we are going to share after the meeting hopefully if you're able to join, you still see some of the information there. Is 200 words enough? Do you think 200 words is enough to put in the application document where they were asking those questions?
I think for the maximum number of words or the minimum, one should stick to the rule as they requested. So don't go beyond the maximum number of words they requested, but give as much as you as much as you can, because if they ask for like 200, try to give as little as 100 words at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell this from experience. I haven't given up to like 90% of the words they requested there in my application, and I was able to make it.
Okay, thank you. So this question, so I just want to put this out there for the speakers and everyone who may want to speak. This is more like a general chat. What do you think the applicant should be doing right now? Like, what do you think would have made, of course, maybe now that you are successful, you may not have known what you did differently, but for aspiring applicants right now, what do you think they are supposed to be doing? What should be of major concern to them right now? I don't know who may want to start with that. Just trying to tell them about things they should be doing right now, things they should worry themselves about, how to navigate through the application process. Whoever wants to go first, please, the floor is open.
Hello. Hello.
Rabio, yeah, just speak.
Okay. So I think at this stage, if one is able to submit his application, then one thing to focus on is to prepare for the interview or the test that's coming up, which is basically on the three core areas in mathematics. That's calculus, probability, and algebra. So I think one needs to practice. Sometimes when I applied here, they gave us some sample questions which you can practice before the interview. And most of the questions that came up during the interview or the exam were quite similar to what they gave us as a sample questions. So one needs to try those things. Yeah, different topics in calculus, different topics in probability and algebra. So prepare for that, and don't let me advise them, because then they administered the test without any proctor. So it was just like that. It's just online test. So maybe someone might attempt to cheat and ask someone to solve the problem for you. But during the interview, you have to answer the questions, and that's when they are going to realize if you actually solve the questions or not. So try as much as you can to answer the questions yourself, understand the solution. Yeah, I think this is one of the things that actually helped me get the scholarship. So they asked me about the solutions of my questions, and I answered the questions successfully.
Thank you so much. Any other person?
Hi. Okay, so I'm just going to talk from experience, and I think Rabiu mentioned preparing for the interview, and I will say that you should create a good rapport with your referees. Just ensure you're checking on them and tell them that AIMS can reach out to you. Please keep an eye on your email and respond as soon as you can. And make sure you give the detailed explanation about who I am to you, my academic performances while I was in the university. Just create that relationship with them and give them hints of what you want them to say. And I swear I will say that if you don't have your certificate ready, your original certificate and your transcript, I feel this is the time for you to, after submitting the application, try and get everything necessary. And if you are still planning on getting your passport, get everything ready. Don't wait for the admission before you start running to where you don't know. So make sure you make proper inquiries about what you need for to resume to school in case you get the admission, and prepare your heart to receive the admission. Prepare for the interview. Reach out to your supervisors, your referees, ask them to write. If you want to give them samples of what you want them to write on, and get every necessary document ready. That's all from my hand.
Thank you so much. Any other person?
So I have something to say.
Okay, right.
Okay, concerning the transcript, for me, I didn't have my transcript as at that point. So I had to make my own, like just write out the courses and the grades. I had to make it like very, very neat. So that was what I uploaded. It was now when after the whole process, um I started applying for transcript and the rest. So if they know their grades now, they can start like just write them out and together with their grades and all, and they can upload that. And for
Yes.
the passport
What?
too,
Yes,
and for
speak.
the passport too, I think some people did not get their admission because they don't have a passport. So during the interview, they asked them if you have a passport, and they said no. So that was why they didn't get the admission. So as they are submitting, like what Dr. Oluwayomi said, they should get their passport too. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any other comments before I try to round?
I want to add something to what Grace said. I'm sorry to cut in, Miriam. So I just want to add something to what okay. I should allow Miriam talk. Miriam, please go ahead.
For the passport, I don't think the passport is the reason why you won't get the admission, to be very honest. Because I don't have a passport when I applied. And when I could remember when Sarah contacted me and she was like, okay, like now they need my passport to book my flight ticket. I'm like, I don't have it yet, but I will get it in a week. But one advice is you when you apply, I don't think they necessarily need your passport, but you should like rest assured that at least have that confidence that you would get into it. And if you're applying for something international, you should start processing your passports. That's one advice I'll give you. Passport doesn't necessarily mean you will get it or not, but since you're applying for an international thing, you should work on getting your passport as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Miriam. But I just want to say something. I noticed that the previous year, before this current student at Ames Ghana, a lot of them that left from Nigeria had issue with passport, and they could not resume until few weeks after. So that could be a new development, that if you don't have a passport, instead of waiting for you for 3-4 weeks before you join your colleague, it's better we just make sure that you have it and you can resume at the right time. So I think I will encourage everyone on this call that if you still have the intention of traveling or applying to universities outside Nigeria, get your passport as soon as you can. When I had my passport, I had no clue of where I was going to. For 3 years, the passport was empty and nothing was there. So, but I have this faith that I'm definitely going to leave the country someday. So I had my passport with me. So you can just give it a try. Just get your passport. And when you're applying for applications to the US, the UK, you know you have your passport already. Then I want to say something regarding the transcript. So I feel writing the transcript, your grades manually, it's not really the right thing to do. I don't know about other universities, but for Unilearning, you have your result on your university portal. And it's the way they put it, it's so clear that you can print it with your school logo, your passport, every information that has to do with you. Then you can print it out and just attach them together as PDF, then you upload it. I feel that's better than typing it yourself or trying to write it manually by yourself. So just go to your portal if you have it. You can reach out to your level advisor if they have it and get your transcript from them.
Thank you very much for that. So with that, we just want to thank so do you want to say something, John?
Yes, I wanted to say something.
Okay.
Only a few points. One, you focus on your application and you make it as perfect as possible and submit. Two, you check on your referees, probably after shortlisting, which takes around maybe 2 months. Around June, July, August, keep checking on your referees. Then three, passport is a very important ingredient. Please focus on it. Then on selection, it is very dynamic. Sometimes it depends on after shortlisting which matrix they want to use. So be prepared. Keep checking your emails, especially spams, because I have had someone who has missed interviews because he or she has not checked email, and especially spam. And when they miss that chance, sometimes they may not even call you on WhatsApp because they are very busy.
That's very important. And we just put some instruction across And hopefully those who will join the platform will also continue to hear from us. Yeah, this is just a big shout out to, people who have started this journey with us. As you can see on the screen, we've had a couple of people that were featured in the first one, second, and third. We're so grateful to you, and thanks to the speakers today, for giving your thoughts, sharing your thoughts, and people who have also gone through AIMS. We're also grateful to you for sharing your ideas. Thank you to all the participants. And like we said earlier on, we're going to send in some application guide. If any of the speakers or anyone feels like there are materials they would like to share, you can share them with us through this email. Then we would be able to bring everything together, combine them together, and share with them. We're hoping to have a WhatsApp group where we'll put in people there. If you have some questions, you may still put those questions there. We're really grateful for everyone. If you are scrolling on your social media pages and you by any chance see our account, please do follow, and this recording hopefully will be on our YouTube channel so that people can also go there and watch it. Thank you so much. I'm wondering if there is any closing remark from anyone or any word the speakers may want to just leave the participant with as they apply for the AIM scholarship.
I'm just giving a word or two. So I just want to encourage every applicant to be confident in whatever application you have, not just for AIMS, but for any application. And you should persevere, because in the scholarship application journey, there are a lot of rejections, a lot of stress and stuff like that. So you have to endure and be ready for all sorts kind of rejections, and believe in yourself that no matter how big the number of no's you receive, one day you are going to get that one yes. And once you get it, that's all. So just remain confident.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm wondering if at this point in time, participants may want to on their camera, let us see your face and probably do a very good final, like we're taking a group photograph, right? I don't know if any of the participants would like to do that. This is, I attended a workshop where we have different people in the US, like the CDC and people from the government as well. And we had this very nice group picture. So I'm hoping that we can have one. So we still have about 33 participants on board. I'm wondering if you can just take your time this time around, just on your camera, let us have a group or a family picture. And yeah, just for a record.
WhatsApp link.
Those who are in Ireland, that Toib, you have failed. Toib, is that your voice?
I think this reminds me of such kind of tradition at AIMS Rwanda, when we had kind of online sessions when the lecturers are lecturing from somewhere else. So we used to have such kind of picture at the end of the session.
Okay, so please let us turn on our camera. We are 33 and let's see, because AIMS itself, it's about believing that the next Einstein might come from Africa. Who knows? Someone among us might be the next Einstein. And it will be like, oh, we had these pictures together, and that's another thing I'll tell people when you go to AIMS, before people will start saying you take pictures.
I don't choose to brag, but I dwell in where I stand, like used to sleep and wake up. So I don't need to brag.
Oh, all right. Pristine people. Okay. No problem. And I don't also need to brag. Maybe every day when I go to work on the 6th floor, was I like I light from my lift. So the picture I'm seeing is Einstein. I'm like, these people just keep reminding me that I'm one of the next Einstein. So we have reduced to 32. I'm not quite sure. Some persons are still trying to join. Oh, the next Einstein from Ireland too has finally joined. Tohib, you've decided not to say anything since. You have disappeared again. Hey, why? Let us have a family.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm still on the call. I'm still on the call.
Oh, you are still on the call? But how come we can't see your face?
Oh, we can We can stop videos.
Please, we would like to be in the same picture with you, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So is that all? Are we still having people who want to join us in this picture? Mr. Lazarus, we are not seeing your face. Are you with us? Okay. Some persons are still joining. Please, because you might be the next Einstein, and we just want to be in the picture with you. It's an honor, eh?
And also, I think you people in that US, I don't know, maybe.
Oh, do you want us to start?
To come
You
after
like
them.
you
Don't
like
worry.
talking about.
Ireland
Okay,
versus
okay.
US. We are coming after you guys.
No, we are not going to say this. So permit me to, maybe at this point, I may have to stop the recording before we are going to talk about. Let me stop the recording. Thank you. Stop.